Hello there everybody, how's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on FlossTube. I am coming to you on this Monday, December 1st, December 2025, with an update video. My first update for December. My first update since mid-October. Yeah. So, anyway, before I get into that, all of that stuff, welcome everybody. Welcome to both my returning viewers, as well as anybody who is new here. Perhaps you are checking out my channel for the first time. On this channel, I talk mostly about cross-stitch. Sometimes I'll talk about books and knitting when it suits, and I do have books and knitting stuff to talk about, but we're sticking to stitching today. This is going to be a different kind of video because I filmed this video already. I filmed it 3 weeks ago, and then life got busy and I wasn't able to edit the thing and things and stuff. I decided to not edit the thing. Kind of. So this episode is going to be a little bit of a Frankenstein because I am going to take the whip section from that video and put it into this one. There's only 2 projects that I have worked on separate from that whip section. So I only have 2 other projects to add in, and I'm going to otherwise splice in the other bit. No sense in filming it again, right? I mean, I've already done it. And it was a lot. It's over an hour's worth of whip content, work in progress content. So we're gonna Frankenstein some things a little bit. And in the interest of time, I'm gonna save some of the extraneous topics for another time. So one of those that I talked about in my last attempt at filming this video was knitting. We will talk about that, but that's going to have to be next time. I'm also not going to talk about haul this time, mostly because a vast majority of it has been put away. So rather than go through and try to find the haul that I need to show you, we're gonna scratch that for this time. But we are going to talk about the stitching I have done, and I will also talk to you about some plans for December. Speaking of plans for December, it's December 1st, which means that FlossTube is massive right now. Every time I'm on YouTube and refreshing my subscriptions, 2 or 3 more videos pop up because Flossmas has begun, and so many folks are jumping in on that. And I am so excited for all of you that are doing that, and I hope that you have so much fun with it. Not for me. It's not for me. I did it a couple of years ago, and it's not for me. This season it's busy. I have an almost 5-year-old, and it's a busy time of year. I don't have the bandwidth to film every day. So there is going to be a lot of videos from me in the coming weeks, but it's just not going to be a daily thing. So just a heads up there. Why has it taken me so long to come back to y'all? First of all, a quick shout out here to anybody who checked in to make sure I was okay. I'm all right. It's all good. It's just been a busy season. I've also dealt with some call it like it is, laziness, where I have been faced with I have a window of time here, I could film or I could stitch. And I have by and large chosen stitching over the last 7-8 weeks, however long it's been. So that's been a part of the issue. So the other sort of reason is that I sort of made the deal with myself, told myself, demanded of myself that I was not coming back to film another video until I had the past giveaways taken care of. They needed to be shipped. By and large, they needed to be delivered. And I also had a digital one that I needed to take care of. And as of today, that is the case. One of them, I believe, is still in transit because it's going to Norway. And with the holiday at the end of last week, I think that probably slowed things down. So I'm sure that the one to Norway is still en route. But otherwise, the giveaways, check, done, taken care of. And so we are back here today. And in light of that, we can kick off our next round of giveaways. So to catch you up, I celebrated 12 years on FlossTube back at the beginning of August. And to celebrate that, I set up to start doing a series of 12 giveaways. I wanted to do one giveaway for every year since I've been on here yammering about cross stitch very intermittently. But anyway, and I put that on pause to get that taken care of. And now that that's taken care of, we can get it started back up again with a caveat. This is going to be our last giveaway for the calendar year 2025 because the holiday season is upon us and shipping is its own little monster here at the end of the year. We will get it back started towards the end of January, and we'll talk about why that is here in just a little bit. But towards the end of January, we'll get it back started again. Before we get into the current giveaway, we have to acknowledge something, and that is the title, Milestones and Plans. Again, this is my third FlossTube in a row titled Milestones and Plans. But here's the thing. In the front of that is that this is FlossTube number 300. 300. I looked at getting some balloons, a 3, a 0, and a 0 balloon to have sort of behind me for this video because that's super cool, but it was like $75. And respectfully, no. No, I was not going to do that. But 300 official FlossTube episodes. Now, I have, I think, nearly 400 videos on my channel, but if you take out the WhipGo videos for the past few years, if you take out the FlossTube extras, if you take out, I had some extraneous topic videos. I think there was a trend a number of years ago where we did a lot of tags on FlossTube. So if you take all of that stuff out, then you get down to the 300 official FlossTube episodes. Wow, 300. That's amazing. It's astounding to say that, 300. And in light of the fact that this is FlossTube number 300, I thought that this giveaway needed to be a little bit special. It needed to be a little bit extra. I'm finally getting back into the swing of things. This feels major, and it feels major enough to do a significant giveaway for. And so this giveaway is going to be a little special. Okay, so let's talk about the giveaway rules first, and then I will introduce what it is and how this is going to work. The rules for giveaways on my channel, please do not use the word giveaway, or me please, or free, or contest, or things like that. Those are little buzzwords that the trolls and the spammers and the bots use to siphon through YouTube to find stuff to just win free stuff. And so we're not using those words. Please try not to use those words in your comments. I will regrettably have to delete the comments because I want this stuff to go to stitchers. People who are going to enjoy it rather than, try to resell it or whatever. Okay, I am going to give you a keyword, and in this instance I'm going to give you 2 keywords, so we'll talk about that. And so use those keywords in your comment instead. as it goes for me, you are more than welcome to just leave the keyword and that be your entire comment. Or you can creatively try to work it in. It makes no difference to me. So use the keyword somehow, some way in your comment. That will alert me that you would like to be entered. And that is what I will use to draw winners. This giveaway is going to last for 2 weeks. I'm going to give this one 2 weeks because Flossmas is so big and this video is so big. I know that a bunch of folks, it's going to take y'all a while probably to get to this one. If you're prioritizing Flossmas, it's going to take a while for people to get to this video. So we're going to let this one go for 2 weeks. My FlossTube in 2 weeks is likely going to be on Tuesday, December 16th. So you need to get your entries in by December 15th. And that's going to probably be our cutoff date. So just a heads up there. You have 2 weeks to enter for this one. I am going to need a few things from you. I'm going to need you to be at least the age of 18 because I will need mailing and email address to be able to send you things. Otherwise I'm going to need parent or guardian's permission for those pieces of information. I would like for you to be a subscriber. I think that'd be pretty great. And keywords. Yeah. Okay. So that's it for the rules ahead of time. I'm really excited about this giveaway, which is why I'm acting a little buzzy. I'm really excited about it. So as many of you know, I love me some project bags. I love project bags. Just about every single one of my projects has a sewn project bag for it. There's only a couple of exceptions to that, and that's purely me being particular and wanting the bag to match the project. I have 97 works in progress, and so that's a lot of project bags on top of the project bags I have that don't have anything in them. But anyway, I love project bags, and a good majority of my project bags come from Stitch and Button. Vicki over at Stitch and Button. Her FlossTube channel will be linked in the description box below. Her shop, which is on Facebook, is always linked below because I'm always showing at least one of her bags. So, our giveaways, special for episode number 300, FlossTube number 300. The first two winners are going to receive a $30 gift certificate each to Stitch and Button. And that is to use on whatever you want. You could use it on towards a project bag, towards some of the many sewn accessories that Vic does, needle minders, shipping. It's $30 for you to use how you see fit. So $30. And we will work out all of that when the time comes. Okay. What I would consider the grand prize drawing, and we're doing a separate keyword for this one because it may not be a grand prize to you. The $30 may be more appealing to you, especially if project bags aren't your thing, or if vinyl front bags aren't your thing, but needle minders are, or all of these other really cool things that Vic does. If those things are your thing, then maybe you want the $30 more. This other thing, I'm calling it the grand prize, but it may not be the grand prize to you. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have one winner here. And I am going to have a chat with our one winner. And we are going to come up with a theme, a style, an aesthetic. And I'm going to go shopping and find some fabrics to match whatever theme we come up with. I'm going to go shopping for this fabric. I will probably use something like Spoonflower or something like that to find something that's going to match. And we're gonna work through this and figure out what kind of a theme you might like for it. I'm gonna order enough fabric send it to Vic. Have it sent to Vic. And she is going to make a project bag, an art book, and a smalls bag out of those fabrics. One set for you and one set for me. And so you will get a whole set, and we will have sibling sets, with a couple of exceptions. Like if you are set on a Kansas City Chiefs bag or an Ohio State bag, then I'm going to have to politely decline my set. You will still get your set, of course. If that's what you want, then hey, go for it. Those things don't work for me. So anyway, but we'll sort through all of that, and so you'll get a whole set. So I had a chat with Vic, and all of this will be covered by yours truly, by me. I will take care of cost of all of the materials. Vic will do the making of the things, and I will cover shipping within the US. If you are outside the US, then I will cover up to $15 worth of shipping, and then Vic will calculate what the shipping is for you and bill you for the remainder. But I will cover up to $15 US for shipping if you are outside the US. Basically, I'm covering up to $15 US shipping regardless, wherever you are on the planet, because that will pretty much take care of all of the US. So yeah. So let me show you really quickly when I talked about project bag and art book. Let me show you what that looks like. So this is one of my more recent project bags purchased for myself. I could not pass this one up. So this is the bag. So this is the back of the bag. And like I said, she does do vinyl front bags. And they are really, really beautifully made. With her logo stuck on there. They are sturdy. They're not stiff, but they are not super floppy either. There is something in there. I can't remember what it's called. The term is escaping me. But so that's the project bag, and that's her average size project bag. The small bag is similar concept. It's vinyl front. It's a little thing. I should have brought one. I have one. Maybe more, probably more than. But it's similar concept. It's a zippered pouch. It has a vinyl front, same fabrics and whatnot. It's coordinating and all of that. I use mine for notions like bead packs or specialty threads. I'll put in my smalls bag. So there's that. There's the bag, and then the art book. I love these. I love these so much. So it's snaps, and Vic has some felt here, and then pockets. So you can store stuff in there too if you like. You can stuff thread in there. I like these because I can be a bit of a messy stitcher sometimes. And so I'll lay this on the arm of my chair, and then let's say I have a piece of thread here that I don't need yet, but I will need soon. Rather than figure out where I'm going to put that, I just pile it up on here, and because it's felt, it stays there. And then I can close it up if I finish stitching for the day, what have you. So I love the art books. I get one of these just about every time I order a bag from Vic because I love these a lot. So our quote-unquote grand prize winner will get this whole set. And a couple of things you need to know about this. This is going to take some time. There's a couple of sort of time delays here. We've got to figure out. We've got to converse and figure out what theme you want or what fabric you want. I've got to get it ordered and sent to Vic. Then Vic needs some time without a deadline to make the things. And I would just ask that if you are going to enter for this, that you be patient, because we're not going to put any pressure on Vic to churn this out, to prioritize this over her regular business or anything like that. It's going to go into the queue, and when we have it, we have it. And so it could be into 2026, well into 2026 before the fruits of this actually come to be. So just be forewarned that there's going to be some time involved in this one. It's another part of the reason why I wanted to sort of put a pause on the giveaways until the new year. Shipping this time of year, it's, you know, it's so that's the plan there. Project bags. Okay, so let's talk about keywords. You are welcome to use both of the keywords. However, I am going to be drawing for the gift certificates first. And so if you use both keywords and your name comes up for the gift certificate, you will no longer be eligible for the project bag set. So just bear that in mind. Be choosy or enter for both and let the chips fall where they may. But I will be drawing for the gift certificates first, so you have all that information. Okay, so for the gift certificates, I would like for you to use the keyword coffee. 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 Coffee is your keyword. That just makes sense. It's on the Stitch and Button logo. A little coffee cup. Where's mine? Yeah, she's got a little coffee cup there. Yeah, so coffee is going to be your keyword for the gift certificates. For the project bag set, your keyword there is going to be snark. 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 That feels very apropos for Vicki, coffee, and snark. So yeah, SNARK is going to be your keyword for the project bag set. And again, just bear in mind it's going to take a little while. Okay, so that squares away our administrative things. I think if things come up, then we'll work them in somehow. Okay. Next, we are going to move in to the November statistics because today is December 1st. When I last filmed what I thought was going to be this video, I did my October statistics, but that's too far gone. Let's start fresh here and we'll talk about November statistics. November for me was a lower stitching month. Okay, so I began the month with 97 works in progress, and with no new starts and no finishes, I ended the month with 97 works in progress. It is very likely that that number won't go down any further before the end of the year. Such is as it is. If anything, it's going to go up. We'll see if I tip over 100 again before the end of the year. In November, I did 13,292 stitches. So yeah, a much lower month for me than the previous 6 months. And the reason for that is a lot of things. By and large, my stitching in November is whatever I could get done in the mornings. And then the rest of the day, it was family things, it was time spent with my husband, it was reading, it was napping, etc. So a whole host of different reasons. Most of my stitching these days is happening in the morning. I stitched 27 of 30 days, so I had 3 zero stitch days in November. Once, I can think of 2 of them, but I can't think of the third. So anyway, it doesn't matter. I had 3 zero stitch days. I worked on 6 projects. That's really interesting. That's the lowest number of unique projects that I have worked on in a single month. No, not all year. March was definitely a lot less than that, but it's the lowest in a long time. Just 6 projects. Okay, of that 13,292 total stitches for the month, 12,031 of them came from full coverage projects. 12,000 stitches came from full coverage. That's roughly 90% of my stitching went into full coverage. So that's pretty interesting. Only one of the 6 projects I worked on in November was not full coverage. Otherwise, it's been full coverage. And of my 27 stitching days, 26 of them went to full coverage. I spent at least a little bit of time on full coverage for 97% of the month. So that's pretty astounding. That's pretty interesting. What's interesting to me about the 26 of 27 days spent on full coverage is that my plan for November was that I was going to spend 2 weeks on Milestone Manor, which for me is very full coverage focused, and we'll talk about that more when we get into the whips. So I was going to spend the first 2 weeks on Milestone Manor, and the second 2 weeks on something else, anything else. And I still worked on full coverage for the majority of that time. So I just find that to be interesting. The full coverage bug is alive and well and thriving and starving for more full coverage. And so I'm going to continue on that, but with some adjustments. So just to avoid burnout, but we'll talk about that as we get there. So that takes care of the November statistics. Okay, now we're going to get into works in progress, for which I think I have 9 works in progress to share with you today. See, this is really interesting because I am splicing part of my last video into this. I don't have everything piled up around me. I just have a couple of things here. So I believe it's 9 or 10 projects. I did just rewatch that whip segment, so I have some of it in my head. It's not, 3 weeks ago and long and forgotten. But anyway, I digress. Okay, let's get into it. And we are going to start with the not Milestone Manor projects. And I have 2 here to show you, and one that passed me will show you in a little bit. Oh, this is wild. Okay. All right. So we're going to start off with Snow Castle. So Snow Castle is something that I have worked on a lot, as in many times, but not a lot of stitches. Okay. So real quickly here, Snow Castle is by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artist is Randal Spangler. And this is my project it's pulling double duty. So I am working on this for full coverage whip go, in which I take the whip go numbers called, multiply that number by 100, and apply that many stitches to Snow Castle to see 32,500 stitches into the project by the end of the year. And almost 6 page finishes, which is great, but in bits. So that's been working out really well. This is also my project for Gridiron Grind. Gridiron Grind is a challenge created by Kim Hollenbeck. She is the one who runs the Full Coverage Fanatics group over on Facebook. So she created a challenge to coincide with North American football. And we are to pick a team and pick some stats you want to stitch for, and then do that. And as a Buffalo Bills fan, who's feeling really good today, I am stitching for the Bills. So this is my project that I am using for that. So let me show you the progress, and then we can talk about things. So here is where I am currently, and if you saw my post on Instagram, I did update this over there yesterday, so not really new information since that point. The fabric here is a 25 count Easy Grid Lugana from Zweigart. I'm stitching this 1/1 full cross. I'm using the called for DMC. The only exception there is the black I'm using is anchor black. And so that's that information. I am working here on page 11. Yeah, so this is page 11 of 21 total pages. Okay, so I have spent 15 days on this since you last saw this in an update video from me. So 15 days for a total of 4,071 stitches in that time. So yeah, so it's been in little bits. 4,000 stitches would not typically take me 15 days to do. Even on this piece where I am in the thick of it with the castle, where the confetti, there is confetti. I mean, you see the number of threads I have parked here. But it's not unbearable. Like it's manageable. Anyway, even still, it would not take me 15 days to do 4,000 stitches, but several times over the last 7 weeks or so, my plan of attack with this one has been to do, I finish a block, I stitch a block, I do the parked threads in a third block. And then the next day I get up and I finish the block that I had started the day previously, stitch a block, and do the parked threads of my next block. So I have lots of days where I have 140 to 170 stitches into this, which is why it took me 15 days to do 4,000 stitches. So here in November, nope, it's not November anymore. So in November, I made the decision that the second half of the month I was going to devote to something other than Milestone Manor. And my plan of attack for that is that I would work on this daily as I just described, and then on Saturdays and Sundays I was going to give this my fullest attention. And what has happened is Saturdays and Sundays have been, shall we say, light on the stitching since I created that plan. The irony of this all is that I think I did fewer stitches on Saturday and Sunday than I did like at all the previous 5 days combined. Like it's just wild. So anyway, that's just how it goes sometimes. So I am now at 70,359 stitches done of 126,000 stitches total. I just yesterday crossed over that 70,000 stitches mark, so that's really exciting. So there's a milestone. And I had it pulled up and then I turned it off. Let me pull up Pattern Keeper here so I can give you an accurate percentage, because this is another one that I reached yesterday or the day before. I'm at 55.84%, so I hit the 55% mark on this one. Very, very cool. This is not a project I have in Milestone Manor, not yet anyway. I haven't found it yet, so very, very cool. So that's where we are with Snow Castle. Now, I am behind. I mean, all the way behind on Gridiron Grind and on full coverage whip go. Actually, I have that here to show you. Let me show you the full coverage whip go, and then we can talk about Gridiron Grind. So this is my map, and I do one of these every month. So this is where I needed to get for November whip go. And as you can see, I am about a diagonal and a half, nope, about 2 diagonals away from that. And then I counted out for December whip go, which is 3,900 stitches for me. That's where I need to get for December. So I have to finish this page and then do basically 60% of page 12 before I get whip go accomplished. So I'm behind, but that's all right. I think I have it figured out how I'm going to not only get whip go accomplished, but get both pages 11 and 12 done before the end of the year. So stay tuned for that. That's where we are now with Snow Castle. I have been dealing with some serious decision paralysis. I mean, very serious decision paralysis. I have tried so many different ways of figuring out what I want to work on. That just goes to show how not sweetie of a stitcher I am. I don't do stitch what you want when you want because I don't know what I want. I just don't know what I want. I'll put that over there. Yeah, I don't know. I created wheels. I let my husband decide. I let my daughter decide. Nothing was sticking. I just have had a time with decision making as far as what to work on outside of Milestone Manor. I think that's why Milestone Manor works so well for me, because I've got a path. I've got objectives. And then I'm off the leash and I don't know where to go. So eventually I sort of narrowed down why I was dealing with this, and the reason for it is that I set a bunch of goals at the beginning of the year, and for various and sundry reasons I've had to let most of them go. And I'm not exactly content with that. There's nothing I can do about it. I mean, there is not enough time to Milestone Manor and also accomplish these goals. It's just not in the cards for me this year. We'll have a look at it for next year. My plans are still very wishy-washy. I don't know yet. But anyway, all of that to say, I decided to pull out one of my projects that was one of my small monthly goals, because while I know I am not going to finish it this year, I would like to finish it soonly. And that requires putting work into it. On top of the fact that I've just maybe kind of been in the mood for some fancy lady stitching. It's definitely a departure from all of the full coverage that it has been for the last 2 months. So, all of that to say that the next project I worked on lives in this project bag. And this is a project bag that was made by Christine of Stitch All the Things. And in here lives my beloved Touching the Autumn Sky. Okay, so this is a chart that I have on loan from a friend, so please don't ask for it. It's not mine. This is out of print, highly sought after, very expensive on secondary markets. And I was very generously loaned this too long ago, and I've got to get this finished. On top of the fact that I just want it. On top of the fact that it's seasonally, like, now's the time. I mean, it's December now, so it doesn't feel so much like the time. But anyway. So this is Touching the Autumn Sky by Mirabilia. And I spent what I thought was going to be just 3 days, but because of the holiday and preparations and things like that, I ended up putting 4 days into it, about 1,200 stitches over those 4 days. And I am really, really happy with the progress that I made. So let me show you the stitching, and then I'll bring it in close so you can see the details for what I did this time. My fabric here is a 32 count Belfast linen in Moana by Fabrics by Stephanie. And I am stitching this using the called for DMCs. I will be subbing out the beads for Delicas, but there's only one color of bead called for, and I'm sure I can find an equivalent for that one bead. I did a hair conversion to give her more of a dirty blonde, reminiscent of myself and my daughter. And I stitched the skin 1/1 because that's what I do. So this time I focused on this side over here, the right side over here, and I added in this part of the scarf. So that's all in now. I think I might have had a little bit more to do on this part of the scarf maybe. I know I had to do this hair and finish up the ribbons. So her hair ribbons are done now, and the hair sort of underneath that's kind of blowing in the wind there, underneath is done, and this scarf bit. And then I came down here and got going in what I think is going to be the fast part. I think I can start zooming now that I am in the skirts. Now that the conversion is taken care of, now that everything is in the right place as far as I know, now I can zoom. Now I can just stitch and just follow the pattern and go. The scarf was the Mirabilia equivalent of confetti. So not really confetti, but kind of. And I certainly have some more tassels like this one. There's one here. You see that one there. And then there's more ribbony things down here. There is still some more detail work to do, but by and large, it's zoom time. It's time for zoomies. So I will continue to work on this maybe regularly. I don't know if it's going to happen here in December, but more on that here in a little bit. She got some love in November, so that was good. That was good. $12.61 on this one. Okay, now's the part of the video where things are going to change. The lighting's going to change and my outfit's going to change, and we're going to go back in time a little bit. We are going back in time. So this is where I'm going to splice in the whip content from my last attempt at filming this video. This is where I'm going to splice that in, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, my other project I have to show you outside of Milestone Manor. It is a Milestone Manor piece, but the majority of what I have to show you I did for Monopoly. So let's get into that. So that lives in this project bag here. This is a brass button project bag. And in here lives my summer montage. So summer montage is artwork by Janet Stever. This is a retired chart from Paine Free Crafts. Janet Stever was retired end of August. So, so you can't get this currently through Paine Free Crafts. You can still find a kit version of this artwork. Secondhand market. They are done by Jenn. So if you are seeking this artwork, you can still find those kit versions out there. So summer montage, like I said, I worked on for Monopoly. Now, when I first got Milestone Manor started, I wasn't sure how to tackle both Milestone Manor as well as some of the other things that I was sort of trying to stay up with. And so I thought about doing a couple of rounds of Milestone Manor, and then I would switch to something else and then go back to Milestone Manor for another couple rounds. So that's what happened here. And so I did a couple rounds of Milestone Manor. I spun a wheel and it pulled this project. So just continuing with the full coverage. Monopoly was a game that Jenn the Caffeinated Crafter was playing. She made the rules, she made the stitch counts. If we were playing along with her, then we assigned our own projects, but she wrote the rules for it. That game has ended. She knew that she wasn't going to continue with it into 2026, and then decided to end it a couple weeks ago, and I was honestly a little bit relieved. Because I'm so into Milestone Manor, and I was ready. I was ready as well. I debated finishing out what I still owed my pieces for Monopoly, but I just let it go after this. So anyway, my last project that I worked on for Monopoly was Summer Montage here. And I owed this project 800 stitches or the page finish, and a little over 800 stitches got me the page finish. So that was pretty cool. So I finished, I think this is page 8, maybe 7 or 8 here. Paine Free Crafts pages are so small. They are 3,500 stitches total, which is just so very satisfying. It's satisfying to reach that milestone. It's really satisfying to reach that so frequently. So you can see that sun hat just really developing there. I love the way that looks. I love the way everything looks on this piece. The fabric that I'm using is a 25 count Lugana from Zweigart in Vintage Country Mocha. It's the sort of modeled printed fabric. Modeled on the front, plain looking on the back. So, yeah. 1/1 full cross with the called for DMC. I think this one is Anchor Black instead of DMC 310 again. So there we have it. All right, so since I have this project out, we're gonna skip ahead a little bit. So I've also worked on this for Milestone Manor. This is a project that is in my bathroom, my downstairs bathroom here. Yeah, downstairs washroom, I guess, or powder room, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, yeah, so I went in there at one point, and my dice gave me 110 stitches. 110. When I finished this page, I finished a couple of milestones at the time, but they didn't count for Milestone Manor. And then I rolled 110. So I came up here and got started on page 3, which you can see. You can see the first little bit there. Yep, that was it. So, since you last saw this piece, I did 1,036 total stitches. I worked on this once for Monopoly and once for Milestone Manor. I am now at 10,700 stitches complete. That feels really cool. That's always such a fun milestone. And I am at, the total stitch count is 147,900 stitches in this piece. So I'm at 7.23% complete. So that's where we are with Summer Montage. Got the page finish and a little bit of Milestone Manor stitching. Okay, so let's talk about Milestone Manor here. First of all, if you are looking at me and you're like, what on earth are you talking about? So I have been playtesting a new game for a little over a month now that I am developing. It is a work in progress in and of itself. This is so the premise of the game is that I am moving through the rooms of my house, and in each room I find a new full coverage work in progress. I am rolling dice to determine the stitch counts. I do those stitches. If I hit a milestone, and we'll talk about what milestones I'm stitching for here in just a moment. If I hit a milestone, then I gain experience points, and my project receives a damage. If I don't hit a milestone, then I receive a damage, and I'm moving through the house and I've got rules and it's fun. I'm really, really enjoying it. So I talked about it very surface level in my last update video with the thinking that nobody else was going to really want to join in on this. And I was just wrong. I mean, I was just wrong. I was wrong. So here's why I thought that. I'm doing this with full coverage, following the milestones that matter to me, and the stitch counts that I am using suit me. These are all very specifically me, kind of rules and stipulations and whatnot. And the way that I stitch, the what I count as a milestone, that's just not going to necessarily be a universal thing. And I devised this with what I want out of it in mind. And I wasn't really thinking about any other options. I wasn't really thinking about customizations for this. But upon talking about it with several folks, it is customizable. You can adapt this to suit your style, what you like to stitch, what you count as a success, etc. It is customizable. So I have been working on a write-up and some worksheets to dispense out to anybody else who wants to play this. I want to have that write-up and those worksheets done before I do a how-to video. And I am trying to work on my character sheets so that we don't have to have a different one for every level. It's one that you could print out multiple copies of, and it would help you with the leveling up stuff. I'm working on it. It's a slow thing. The other thing is that I didn't want to do a how to play this video until I had a better grasp of it. I wanted to get deeper into it, to work out the kinks, to simplify or complicate certain aspects of it. I wanted to work it before I shared it. And so I've done it for a month now, and I have experienced a lot of different things over the last month. Like I lost my last health. I leveled up. So I'm getting the experience and play testing it. So I am still not at a point where I am sharing the details this time, regrettably. That was part of the reason why I haven't come back to film a regular update, because I felt like there was a lot more interest in this than I had ever anticipated, which is honestly on brand. But I felt compelled to get that worked out before I came back to film an update. But the time is just stretching, and the number of projects is a lot. So I'm going to tell you the stitching that I have done and how it's gone, and I will point out the milestones that I have reached, and we'll go through it from there. And I'm working on it. I am actively working on it. I've got the write-up about 75%, and I am at about the same level with the worksheets, with the sort of paper stuff that kind of goes along with this. I'm at about the same point. So I should be able to release a how-to video and these files I would expect around this time next week. So if you're looking for the details, they are forthcoming. I have had a couple of folks who have taken this on, and they've already jumped in feet first. So Sammy J Stitches is normally the person that I go to when I have these ideas, and I tell her to play along with me. I don't tell her, but I encourage her to try these things with me. It happened with WhipGo. It happened with Big Brother. She was the first one to sort of play the games that I have come up with. And I did not do that with this one because for the same reasons. I didn't think anybody else was gonna. And I know what Sammy's stitching time is and what her interests are, and I knew that it wouldn't fit the way that I have created it. But anyway, she volunteered and is playing it with her own milestones and her own projects, and so that's pretty cool. A couple of other folks have jumped in that same vein. I have not watched her latest video, but Karla over at Karla's Stitching Journey, yes, she used to be Craft Edit K, but now she is Karla's Stitching Journey here on FlossTube. So she has taken this on board, and she's doing a sort of a deviation from it, but similar high level plan, which has inspired Siski. I think that Siska is starting to maybe think up a version herself. Details are forthcoming about this time next week, I expect. So we have to talk about this before we dive a little bit further. We have to talk about FlossTuber Frenzy. Okay, so FlossTuber Frenzy. This is a really, really cool game created by Anna, the Alchemist Stitcher. Anna was inspired by Great British Cross Stitch Baking Show, Big Brother Stitchy Game, Gridiron Grind. Those things don't really suit. She doesn't really watch those things, and so to stitch for them felt, I don't know, inauthentic. But she does watch FlossTube, and so she picked a list of, I think, 12 FlossTubers, if memory serves, and assigned projects to them, and is doing stitches when they upload videos. So this naturally kind of went kaboom, and a bunch of folks jumped on board very shortly thereafter. I toyed with it. I've toyed with it a couple of times. I've toyed with my own tweaks, and we'll see. Right now, I'm so focused on Milestone Manor that I don't see how to do both. But maybe I think about it over the next 6 weeks or so and implement it in 2026. We'll see. My official 2026 plans are still in development, so we'll see. Anyway, so Jenn, the Caffeinated Crafter, she and I are similar in a lot of ways, and that is that we take these challenges and then we just complicate them. We make it so much bigger than originally described. So Anna's version is 200 stitches when the FlossTubers on her list upload a video. Jenn, the Caffeinated Crafter, has 21 FlossTubers, I think, that she is stitching for, and she's got a whole host of things that she is stitching for. 500 stitches for first update of the month, X number of stitches if they show finishes and new starts, X number of stitches, she's doing X number of stitches if for the number of projects shown, X number of stitches for if the FlossTuber that she's stitching for shows any projects that she also has in her whips, and also milestones. She is stitching, I think it's 100 stitches per milestone. And she chose me as one of her FlossTubers. By the way, anybody who has chosen to stitch for me, that is such a huge buzz. I love that. I love that so much. Yeah, that's really cool. So I'm gonna really look forward to seeing all of your projects get a little bit of love here pretty soon. Jenn's project, Summer Sampler, I know that that's the one that she picked for me, is about to get a ton of love. Okay, so this is my first update of the month. I am showing a total of 8 projects, Jenn. 8 projects. I don't have any finishes or new starts, but I do have 12 milestones. 12 milestones to talk about. Okay, actually 11, because one of them I talked about in my last update video. So it's 11 milestones, Jenn, and 8 projects. And I don't know what of these we have in common. Maybe not any of them. Jenn, let me know. And then get to stitching, because it's a lot. It is a lot. Okay. So, yeah, anyway, so to anybody who is doing FlossTuber Frenzy, and has chosen me, thank you, that's really cool, and, get to stitch it. Okay, so let's get into this. Okay, so my first playthrough of Milestone Manor, I learned a lot, and I adjusted things a little bit. I added a couple of milestones and tweaked the rules slightly, but that in the final version you won't even see the tweaks that I have made. So, okay, when last we spoke, I was actively working on this project, and I did not bring it to show you in that video. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Okay, so I did not show it to you in that video, but I was working on it for my round on Milestone Manor. Okay, so this is a project that I also worked on again later on for Milestone Manor, so we'll talk about that here in a minute. Okay, so it lives in this project bag here. This is a bag by Pam's Needle and Thread. And this is Quick Stitch Day and Night. So this is by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artist is Nadia Strelkina. And okay, since I last showed you this project, I have done 2,644 stitches, and that is since I last showed it to you. It's not since I last like those stitches include what I did during my last update. Okay. So 2,644 stitches. This is the other reason why this episode is titled Milestones, because it's another 11 of them. Okay. So here is where I am currently. I am working on page 7 or 8. I think it's 8 actually. I think this one is 7 pages across. So I think that is page 8. And as you can see, there's a moth. There's a moth about 80% done there. So I'm going to fold up my fabric a little bit, make it a little bit easier to show you the stitching I've actually done. Again, a 25 count Easy Grid Lugana from Zweigart, 1/1 full cross, called for DMC, anchor black instead of DMC 310. And yeah, I am in the confetti moth, which is actually just a lot of fun to stitch. It's really, really cool. It's a nice break from the mass of 939 and 823 and 3750 going on in the background here. And to actually stitch on a thing, I love that. So, as I said, 2,644 stitches added since we last saw this. I worked on this 2 times for Milestone Manor, a total of 7 days. The first time it was called for 1,150 stitches, the second time 1,400 stitches. I am now at 21,584 stitches complete of 210,648 stitches total, bringing me to 10.25% complete. So I have hit several milestones on this piece since you last saw it. When I was working on it in October for that first time, I hit 20,000 stitches. So that was very, very exciting to hit the 20,000 stitches mark. And then I worked on it again, let me see here, in early November. And the next milestone that I hit on it was shrinking diagonals. So that is kind of a personal milestone because I stitch in the diagonal blocks. When I hit both the right side, the right edge of a page and the bottom of a page, my diagonals start shrinking and the page finish is coming. So I count that as a milestone. That's a very personal one. That one's not necessarily numeric, but it is measurable, and it is one that I celebrate. And then very shortly thereafter, I did cross that 10% mark. So that is my third milestone reached on Quick Stitch Day and Night. Super, super cool. So that is where we are with Quick Stitch Day and Night. Now, all of my projects for Milestone Manor is assigned a hit point value. And when I achieve a milestone, they take a damage. They lose a health point. And the originally Quick Stitch Day and Night was assigned 6 health points, and it is now down to 3. So we are halfway through on this project. So that is Quick Stitch Day and Night. My first go with Milestone Manor really was a learning trial run. That was pretty cool. Okay, so after Quick Stitch Day and Night, that first go round, I then went into my game room. And the project in my game room lives in this project bag here. So this is again a project bag by the Brass Button. And in here lives my haunted house. Oh, so excited to work on this in October. It was wonderful. It was really, really cool to work on it. So this is Haunted House artwork by Dona Gelsinger, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is my largest work in progress. It is humongous. And I rolled for 960 stitches. I ended up doing 963. It took me 2 days to do that. This one's really easy to show you because I only worked on it the one time so far. So 960 stitches. And I ended up doing 963. Working on page 2, and I made it to the right side of the page. So a lot of times, this is not always, but a lot of times when I'm working the top row of pages, I do like to work across the top first and then work in my diagonals from there. And that's what I did here. Just trying to zoom through some stitches to work my way across for a bit. So after those 2 days, I am now at 8,969 stitches complete of 520,000 stitches. 520,625 stitches, bringing me to 1.72% complete. And this was my first damage. So this was the first time I took a damage, and I was really excited, which feels wrong, but I was just to see how this was going to shake up. And so I took my first damage because I hit no milestones. So this is a good conversation here. What are the milestones that I'm stitching for? Shrinking diagonals we've talked about. When I hit completed stitch counts of increments of 10,000, so 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, etc. percentage milestones. Now the percentages are individual. I sort of categorized these full coverage projects in 3 separate ways. I have 2 projects, I think. Nope, I have 3 projects at under 100,000 stitches total. And so for every 10, the threshold I need to reach for a milestone on those one is 10%. I just didn't think that, like, 1% on my Blue Ridge is 380 stitches. That makes no sense for that piece. But 10% on this is 52,000 stitches. That doesn't make any sense. So I had to sort of differentiate them a little bit. Okay, so under 100,000 stitches are 10% thresholds. Between 100,000 and 1 stitches and 250,000 stitches, those are 5% levels. And then anything over 250,000 stitches total, 1% levels. Okay, so we've got stitch counts, we've got percentages. I am doing extra milestones reached for 25, 50, and 75%. Those are extra special percentages to me. The same is true for stitch counts when I hit the 100,000 increments. Those are extra milestones as well. So when I hit 100,000 on something, I will get both the increment of 10,000 and then an additional one for hitting the 100,000 increment. Let's see, what else am I stitching for? If I hit 3 colors zeroed out, so for every 3 colors a 0, that will be a milestone to me. Page finishes, of course. Bonuses for row finishes, bonuses for finding a new corner. So let's just say, for instance, just for fun, let's say I finished this last page of the row here, which we'll see if that happens in my lifetime. But if I hit that, once I get that page finish, I get the milestone for the page finish, I get the milestone for the row finish, and I get the milestone for finding a second corner. Because that's a huge accomplishment there. That's worth a triple celebration for sure. So, yeah. Let's see, what else? I am also stitching, I'm also gaining milestones for when I hit that point of 100 increments of 100,000 stitches remaining. So when I hit 500,000 stitches remaining on Haunted House here, essentially when I hit 20,625 stitches, that's a milestone. I've got less than 500,000 left to go on this one. Some of these, that's really easy to reach. Some of them, it's going to take a while. I mean, all of them is going to take a while. So, those are the milestones that I'm stitching for. There may be more than that, but that's what I can think of off the top of my head. So anyway, so that is where I'm at with Haunted House. No milestones reached at that point. Then, from my game room, I went into my dining room, and in my dining room lives an oldie but goodie that we haven't seen in a while. Living in this project bag. This is by Jasmine's Custom Bags. Jenn is over on Instagram, and this is this might be my first Jenn bag, I think. I'm looking as if I've got them all here. This might be my oldest Jenn bag, but anyway, so in here lives Avarice. And it was so good to work on Avarice. This is a piece that I regrettably had up on the shelf this year. So when I opened that envelope and I found this one in there, I was like, yes, I'm excited. I'm excited to work on this one. So Avarice is by Marta Dalig, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. It is from her 7 Deadly Sins series. This is a project that when my husband and I, when we were just dating, for one of our dating anniversaries, he found my wish list on Heaven and Earth Designs, picked one, bought it, printed it out, got all of the threads and gifted that to me, surprised me with that for one of our anniversary gifts, for one of our dating anniversary gifts. So I started this for our first wedding anniversary. We got married in 2016, and so on our first wedding anniversary is when I started the project. And I am not near as far as I would like to be on this, but that's okay. And I wasn't supposed to work on this year. I was prioritizing things that hadn't reached page finishes yet, but Milestone Manor had a different idea, and so I got to work on it. So I'm not sure why I unwrapped the fabric only to fold it back up, but here we go. So this is again, 25 count easy grid Lugana from Zweigart, 1/1 full cross, called for DMC anchor black instead of DMC 310. Believe it or not, they're not all like that. It's just, they are all 1/1 on 25 count, so perhaps I'll stop saying that. So, let's see. I rolled my dice, and my dice total came to 1,680 stitches owed this project. I did 1,706 stitches, and it took me 2 days to do that. I was having some really good stitch days, which, considering, so I started on page 6 here, I believe. Considering the confetti that's in there, that's astounding that I did that many stitches in such a short period, but there you go. That brought me to 17,373 stitches complete of 153,200 stitches total. So I inserted a preview of what this will look like finished. I am cropping this piece, and so I will insert the crop so that you can see what I'm bringing it down to. So that 153,200, that is the cropped version. I have enough fabric here to stitch the whole thing. So if I get down to my crop line and I think it looks unfinished, then I can keep going. But I essentially took off the bottom 2.5 rows of pages on this piece. So, and 11.34% complete now. That is accurate. I am doing that math. I'm not relying on Pattern Keeper for percentages on this one. So 11.34%. And I did not hit a milestone. No milestones on this one. Not this time. So that's where we are with Avarice. I love this project. It is so brown, but it's so warm, and the confetti, I mean, it's a lot of confetti. There is some ninja stitches, but it's mostly just it's mostly threads that I can park and carry through. It's less of the ninja stitches, and I just have fun with it. I mean, I really enjoy it. It makes me want to go back into my dining room a whole bunch of times. Put some more work into it. So after that, I decided to come back down the hallway. I have a couple of rooms still on this side of the house, if you will. And my hallway piece, my entryway hallway piece, is April. And I've worked on that a bunch of times. So I think we're going to actually hold off on that for a minute. This is my one it's complicated to try to figure out where I should talk about this one. Because I've had to work on this one a lot. So I worked on it after finishing my stitches on Avarice, worked on April, and did not hit a milestone that time. So took another damage. So at this stage, I am at 2 experience points, 3 damage. Then I went into my downstairs powder room, restroom, bathroom, what have you, whatever you want to call it. And as mentioned, that is summer montage. 110 stitches. I did not hit a new milestone with that 110 stitches. So up to 4 damage at this point. Then I come back out in the hallway and I roll 400 stitches on April, and you guessed it, I did not hit a milestone again. So now we are up to 5 damage, 2 experience points. I have 6 health max, and I have one room left on this side of the house, and I did not hit a milestone on that. So, you know what? I have it written on there. So let me talk about the project first, and then I'll show you this. And again, I was a little bit kind of excited to see this, to see how this was, and to see what it was like to lose my last health point. I was kind of excited to work through that and see what it was like. So this project that is in my office here, my project that is in here is Magic Study. So this is very exciting. It was cool to get to Magic Study. So my process for when I lose my last health, I blip back to my entryway and then I begin again. And so I ended up coming back in here because I knew how close I was to a milestone, and so I figured unless I rolled poorly, I was going to be able to hit a new milestone. And so what you're going to see here is I've worked on this twice for Milestone Manor, and I have hit 2 milestones. But the first time I did not hit a milestone. So, okay. So that lives in this project bag here. This is a bag that was made for me by Dawn Marie of DM's Crafty Vortex here on FlossTube. And when I toyed with the idea of FlossTuber Frenzy, I toyed with assigning this project to Dawn Marie because she has the fraternal twin in her whips. So that's still an idea. We'll see. We'll see. Perhaps I will pick up FlossTuber Frenzy when my projects come out of Milestone Manor. Perhaps that should be the plan. So anyway, that is what lives here. Now, Magic Study, my version is I can't remember what the version is called, but it's the blues and purples version. It's the cool tones version from Heaven and Earth Designs. This was the limited edition in May or June of 2020, and the limited editions only lasted for a month. Rose Khan, the artist here, has been fully retired from Heaven and Earth Designs, so you can't get the HAED versions of these charts anymore. Paine Free Crafts does have this chart, as well as the rainbow version that Dawn Marie is stitching on. So head on over to her channel if you want to see what that looks like. It's more rainbow toned, and it's got butterflies in it too. But anyway, mine is the cool tones, the original Heaven and Earth Designs limited edition one. Okay, so this project is out of the Q-Snap for the first time in well over a year. Okay, so 25 count Easy Grid Lugana from Zweigart called for DMC Anchor Black instead of 310 once again. And you will see that I've got page 3 well in progress. Page 3 is well in progress. So I finished up page 2 in my second time. That was my second time working on this piece. My first time I got further into the page and I was very, very close to the page finish at that point, but I'm trying to stick as close as I can to the actual stitch count required. And I just didn't hit a milestone the first time I worked on it.
But the second time I worked on it, I needed enough stitches to finish the page and then get a good chunk into page 3 here. I work on this piece on a Q-snap. I have no real other option other than to work on this in a Q-snap. And I don't have a lot of side margin here for working the first page in the Q-snap. I did something really weird with stitching the first page here that I won't repeat for it anywhere else. I won't do that again. It's not even, like, I'm not even going to explain it. But anyway, so when I finished page 2 here, I wanted to come down here and work in my page diagonals. But I need to sew on some fabric onto the sides here to make this Q-snap friendly for this left side of pages. I'm going to have to do that. So instead, I came over here and got started on page 3, and I'm actually kind of excited about it because I love stitching the gemstones in this chandelier here, and we're gonna get quite a few more on this page. So this project, I'm really wishy-washy about it. One day I will say, oh, you know, I really like the way that that's looking. And then the next day I'm like really disappointed in how dusty it looks. And then the next day I'm like, no, you know what? It's actually turning out really pretty. And then the next day I'm reminding myself that I am like nowhere. I am nowhere on this piece. This is another really large project. So where are you, Magic Study? There you are. Okay, so since I last showed this to you, I have done 3,525 stitches. I worked on this 2 times, a total of 7 days for Milestone Manor. The first time it was called for 1,000 stitches. The second time it was called for 2,500 stitches. So yeah, 3,500 stitches. And that got me to 17,411 stitches complete of 416,250 stitches total. Yeah, this is a pretty large project. I am now at 4.18% complete. So the 2 milestones that I hit the second time was the page finish. So I got the page finish here. Oh no, I hit 3. Look at that. Okay, so I hit page 2 finished on October 31st on Halloween morning. And then on November 1st, I surpassed 400,000 stitches remaining. So I have less than 400K to go. And then my third, I hit the 4% mark. So 3 milestones hit in 1 stitching session on this one. This one originally had 6 health points. It is now down to 3 health points. So that's where we got to with Magic Study. 4.18% complete. So that's pretty cool to hit the 4% mark. I like it. Okay, so I think we can talk about April now. I think we're down to just 2 projects left. Okay, that's good because it's getting late. I don't know what happened. Okay, so we can talk about April now. April is my hallway entryway piece. Okay, so my first round I worked on it twice. I went into the hallway after Avarice and did not hit a milestone. After coming out of the bathroom, I was back in the hallway again, and again, I did not hit a milestone at that point. So after my character exhausted and then restarted over, my first step when I have to start over is back in the entryway. I start back at the beginning line again. And so I worked on April again. And This time I rolled 1,470 stitches, and I hit a milestone that time. So let me run through all of this information, and then I'll show you the project, because I think that will make a lot more sense. So I hit my milestone of shrinking diagonals. At this point, I had reached the bottom of the page I was working on. So that's pretty cool. Then I worked on Magic Study. I knew that I was close to the page finish here on Magic Study, so I came in here, worked on Magic Study, hit those 3 milestones, and went back into my hallway, because that's my only option. So I had to work on April again. And at that point, I rolled for 2,100 stitches, which was a lot. But that's okay. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I got page 13 finished. So that was very exciting. I got that page finished on November 5th, and you'll see that here in just a minute. Then I decided to go into my playroom. So that was the second time that I worked on Quick Stitch Day and Night and hit shrinking diagonals on that, which I've already shown you. And then I hit 2 milestones at that point on Quick Stitch Day and Night, shrinking diagonals, and 10%. Did I show you this yet? So this was my first go. So I hit 2 milestones, and then immediately just 6 no milestones back to back to back to back to back. So that was very interesting. So my second go round looks like this. I hit a milestone every project I worked on at this point, which was just so interesting. I mean, this helps. Hitting 3 Magic Study in one stitching session, yeah, that helps. So I completed and was able to level up. So when leveling up, my health goes up, and my experience points required for my next level up also increases. And so I went up to 8 health and 10 required experience points in order to be able to level up again. So also when I level up, I go back to my entryway again. So a couple of y'all touched on the games that you thought might have been inspiration, and Gloomhaven is absolutely one of them. Gloomhaven, Frosthaven is absolutely one of my influences. And in Gloomhaven, Frosthaven, when you level up, you have to go back to town in order for that to happen. And so I am sort of treating this the same way. I go back to my front door when I level up. And so that's what I did. I went back there. I worked on this again, and the last time was for 1,500 stitches, and I hit another milestone. I hit 30%, which is so exciting. So let me show you the project now that I have spewed a lot of information and numbers at you. Another brass button bag. These are very popular among my full coverage projects because I used to need the larger bags. I store things a little bit differently now. So I don't necessarily need the larger bags for my full coverage pieces, but I'm still using these bags. So this is April by Anna Denton. And the reason that I made this my hallway entryway piece is that I know that I'm going to be working on it a lot. Every time I bop through some rooms, both down here as well as upstairs, I'm going to be working on this one. This is my oldest full coverage piece, and I want to get some really significant progress on this in 2026. I want 10 page finishes next year, and that's what the goal that I'm setting. And so I'm working on this a lot. So this is a project that started with 10 health points, and I believe it's down to 5 now. Let me see. I don't know if I have that updated. No, it is down to 6 health points remaining. So I've dealt 4 damage to it. So let me pull things down. This fabric is a 25 count antique white Lugana from Zweigart. It was never pre-gridded. And so yeah, it's not a gridded fabric. It's just a plain Lugana. So first, let me show you page 13 in its finished glory, and I love this. I love this so very much. There's nothing like it's just shapes and blobs, and I love the shapes and blobs. I really enjoyed stitching this page. Yeah, that was really enjoyable. So I finished up page 13, and I ended up doing the first block in page 14 here because it was set up in my frame and I needed another 100 stitches for Milestone Manor. So I have the tiniest little start on page 14 there. But then when I worked on it again here, now that I am a level 2, I came up here and got started on page 4. And it was like I hit the brakes. I could not stop stitching on this. I wanted to keep going over and over and over again. And this took me 4 days. It took me 4 days to do these 1,500 stitches. I was just not motivated because I'm stitching things. You can kind of see here flower petal. No, it's not super obvious things. It's, without me telling, I don't know if you would notice necessarily what that is meant to be. It's the colors though, like it's just a lot of pale shades, and it's just not as much fun to stitch as those gorgeous tealy turquoises. That's fun. This is not so much fun. I'm working through it, and I can't work on the fun unless I do this too. So this is why I stitch my pages in diagonals, really. I mean, that's the reason for it. So yeah. So there we are. That is where I am with page 4. And I did not work all the way across the top of the page with this one. Because I just didn't feel like it at the time. I may do that the next time I work on this. I may continue across the width of the page along that top row and then continue in my diagonals. So, okay, April, I have worked on, since my last update, 5 times, 13 days for Milestone Manor, 7,112 stitches since my last update. So this was the first project that I showed you for Milestone Manor in my last update video. That 7,112 is since that point. And so the stitches called for were 1,440, 400, 1,470, 2,100, and 1,500. And I'm telling you those numbers just so that you can kind of have a sense of what the dice are doing for me. So I am now at 47,345 stitches complete of 156,150 stitches total, bringing me to 30.32% complete. 30%. This one, like I said, is 156,000 and change total stitches. So this is 5% levels. So I'm a long way from 35%, but that will be my next percentage level on this one. I love it. I love it. I really love that bottom page. Yeah. Oh, so pretty. And I'm really gonna love stitching this page here because that's her face. I'm gonna stitch a good majority of her face on that one. So that'll be exciting. The other thing is there is something to look forward on this page. The center of the flower is here. And so I will very likely be zeroing out some colors on this page. Some of those oranges are going to get done on this page, which will be fun. So there we have it. There is April. All right, last project to share with you. Okay, so I finished up, I had just leveled up. I finished up my stitching on April there, and I had a choice to make. Because I leveled up, I can now open 2 more rooms. I had maxed out the number of rooms that I was able to open at level 1, but I get 2 more rooms now that I am a level 2. So I had a choice to make. I could go back through my dining room and continue on this floor level of my house. I've got kitchen, den, and garage and laundry room still down here on the floor level. Or I could go upstairs and sort of bop into the bedrooms and whatnot upstairs. So I decided to make my stairs a new project. I had originally thought that I would treat April as this entryway, hallway, the stairs, and my hallway upstairs. That would all be one. But the stairs kind of feels like its own entity. And so I had my husband pull a project from my extras envelope, and that is my stairs project. So I was essentially faced with, I can go up the stairs, essentially open a new room by going up the stairs, or I could go back to my dining room and work on Avarice. And I decided to go up the stairs because I wanted a new project. Yeah, I was excited. You know, I had done essentially, how many stitching sessions is that? Okay, I'm going to count them real quick. 12. I had done 12 stitching sessions in and amongst those 6 projects. And so I was looking forward to freshening things up and seeing what was next. So I decided to go up the stairs. And so my stairs project is my next project. And that lives in this project bag here. This is a bag by Be Busy Bags. Last I saw, she was not doing project bags. So I will link it if there's project bag related things in her shop. Or I won't if that's not a thing. Okay, so in here lives Little Wings. When I had Danny put the new project in the envelope, I was kind of putting out a wish for a couple of things, and this wasn't among those wishes, but I was still like so excited that this one was in there, because this is another project that's supposed to be up on the shelf this year. I had hit my first page finish last year, and so it was supposed to wait its turn. But I got to work on it again here this year. So very exciting. Okay, so this is Little Wings. Little Wings is artwork by Jeremiah Kettner. I have the version charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Jeremiah Kettner has been retired from Heaven and Earth Designs. You can find this along with some other Kettner works at Charting Creations. And then you can find some other Kettner pieces at Thread Geeks. But Thread Geeks at the end of the year is retiring like 95% of their artworks. I don't know anything. All I know is that Kettner will be retired from Thread Geeks as of December 31st. So keep your eyes peeled. Go head on over there, see what they have on offer. a lot of their artists is going to be retired at the end of the year. But this one, I have the HAED version. You can find this artwork at Charting Creations. Okay. So Little Wings, 25 count, Easy Grid Lugana from Zweigart. Called for DMC Anchor Black instead of DMC 310. And this I needed 1,360 stitches. And I managed 1,370 stitches. This took me 3 days to do. I don't want to say that my stitchy bug is going or that my enthusiasm for Milestone Manor is going so much as, like, Danny and I have been watching some shows and I've been knitting and we're hanging out together, and I just haven't been stitching in the evenings as much as I was beforehand. The vast majority of my stitching happens in the mornings. I'm getting up at 5 just about every day just to get in some quiet stitching time in the mornings. And then I'm usually tired. I'm usually exhausted. Let's be real. I'm usually exhausted by the afternoon and evening. So anyway, so it took me 3 days to do those 1,370 stitches, and I got started on page 2 here. And I adore this piece so much. These colors are so vibrant and pretty. Yeah, I really enjoy this one. I had this one still set up on my frame, and then it was kind of propped on the door, and my daughter came through and she said, "Oh, will you stitch on that some more? Will you stitch on the owl some more?" I almost did. I mean, I almost did. But more on that here in just a little bit. So I am now at 9,547 stitches complete of 208,400 stitches total, bringing me to 4.58%. I'm really close to that 5% mark. I did hit a milestone when I worked on this. So I have now less than 200,000 stitches complete. I hit that 8,400 to get me to that threshold during this stitching session. So that was pretty cool. So that is where we are with Little Wings, and I'm geeked that this is my stairs piece because it's going to be one of those pieces that I'm going to work on a few times. Not as much as April, but a few times I will work on this one. So, let's see here. So let me show you what level 2 looks like so far. Expanded out with my new health and XP requirement information. This is the thing that I'm working on. I'm trying to sort out how to do this, that if you're playing along, you don't need to print out a new version of this every time you level up. The other thing is that leveling up is a little bit dynamic. It's based on some dice rolls. The changes made is based on some dice rolls. So, a dice roll. So I don't want to have to create a different document for every conceivable option. Yeah, that's excessive. So I'm working on making a what's the word I'm looking for? A version that's going to be sort of more universal. So anyway, so that's where I am with round 1 of level 2 Milestone Manor, and I am headed upstairs. So let me share with you okay. So these are my whips and their health points. And so I color these in when I deal a damage. And so I have 11 here, 11 here marked off. And so yeah, so that's very exciting. So the question has come up. What am I going to do when a whip is defeated? When I max out the health points on these ones? And the answer to that is that I have, I think, 21 here because of my 20 full coverage pieces on the go, and no. Do I have... Oh no, I'm missing one. Okay, so I'm missing the things we vary, which is a full coverage, no background that I did include in this, because I'm keeping track of the milestones just the same. So anyway, I have 21 here, so my 22. I have 22 here because I have 20 full coverage pieces on the go. I have the things we vary, my no background full coverage piece, and then I have new start. So 22 options available to me. And so when one of these is maxed out, I will replace it with something else. April is the only exception to that rule. As mentioned, I have an envelope with all of my extras in it, and so that's what I will use to replace. Now, once I run out of projects in that extras envelope, then the rooms will just be empty. And so I can move through them a little bit faster. So that's kind of my thinking there. April is my special case. So I have decided that one, I am going to alternate 5 milestones on a project that I am going to start as soon as this happens. So as soon as I hit my 10th milestone on April and this project becomes retired, then I am going to start Bonded by the Rain by Leonid Efremov, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I have yet to decide if I'm doing the regular version or the Supersize Max Color version. My husband and I celebrate 10 years married next year, and that feels momentous, and I don't have like a legitimate anniversary piece. Now, Avarice is kind of an anniversary piece. We've talked about it. It was a dating anniversary gift, and I started it on our first wedding anniversary, but that's not really like an anniversary. That's not really my husband and I's relationship. Like that's not really it. So Bonded by the Rain by Leonid Efremov, it's kind of dual meaning. And so I am going to alternate 10 milestones on April with 5 milestones on Bonded by the Rain. Like I said, as yet to be determined if that is Supersize Max Color or regular. I feel like it's our 10-year wedding anniversary. That's momentous. That feels like a cool thing to do for Supersize Max Color, but I don't know that I'm really up for that. I don't know yet. So, some thinking to do. So we'll just alternate back and forth between those two things for that one. I don't know which of these projects is in here. The only one I know for certain, the only ones I know for certain is April and Avarice and Quick Stitch Day and Night, Magic Study, Little Wings, Summer Montage. Oh, that should have a mark. No. I did not hit a milestone. Sorry, I'm confusing myself. Haunted House. Yeah, that's it. So, I'm digging this. I'm having fun. This is another worksheet that I'm working on, trying to find a way of making it universal. Because like this doesn't really work for everybody else. It's not going to work for everybody else. Not at all. So that's where we are with Milestone Manor and with my stitching. All full coverage. all full coverage. Which is just I don't know. It's kind of fun. I kind of like it. It's my Stitchy Bug wants full coverage right now. And so yeah, we're gonna continue with that.
And we're back to the future.
Yeah. Okay, so I have some sort of
cleanup to do as far as some of the numbers that I gave you. And this is going to be information particularly relevant to Jenn in your FlossTube frenzy. So I think in that segment I mentioned 11 milestones. That's inaccurate. It's actually 14. It's 14 milestones reached since my last video. So the 3 on April that I showed you, the 3 on Quick Stitch Day and Night, 3 on Magic Study, 1 on Little Wings, 2 as just recently mentioned on Snow Castle, and that would have been the 70,000, so that increment of 10,000, as well as 55%. So 2 on Snow Castle, and also 2 that did not count towards Milestone Manor, but were nonetheless milestones on Summer Montage, crossing the 10,000 stitch mark there, and also the page finish. So 14 milestones. That's the way it's going to be. Milestones are my thing, especially with these full coverage pieces. And so yeah, so there's that. And also I showed you a total of 9 projects in total today. In total in this video, I've shown you 9 works in progress. So, so there is all of that. Jenn, we will all be very curious to know what the total stitch count is for this video from me. Yes, very curious. And if you need to reduce the milestones that you actually stitch for, Jenn, let me know. We can discuss. Okay, so that's going to help us segue into plans. And so let's talk about my plans for right now and my plans for the rest of December. In November, I tried a rotation where I spent the first half of the month on Milestone Manor and the second half of the month on something else, right? Here in December, I'm going to try yet another idea, and that is increments of 10 days. So I'm going to spend these first 10 days on Milestone Manor, second 10 days on something else, and then the last bit on something else special to December here. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. So it's December 1st, and so I am back into Milestone Manor. So let me show you my floor plan here so that you can kind of see this visually where we're at here. And so this is my downstairs. Here's where we are. Magic Study, as I said. And I am currently upstairs in this little hallway here. And that is April, because April is my project assigned to all of my hallways kind of a situation. Okay, so none of this is to scale, by the way. This was all thrown together very, very quickly. Anyway, so from this hallway, I have choices aplenty. I only have access to one more room, so I have to pick one. I am trying to decide where that is, and if I'm honest, I think I want to start here and work my way through the circle. I think that's what I want to do. So we are going to start here with what I have titled second bedroom. That's really storage, but it's what I'm calling second bedroom. And so I thought it would be fun for me to open up the envelope here with you on camera. I'm going to close my eyes when I open it so that you guys will see what project it is before I do. Kind of. We're still in this weird timeline. So I have my envelopes here, and we need bedroom 2. So here's bedroom 2, And so I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to open and I'm going to show y'all. And hopefully that's on the front, but if it's not, I'm going to flip because I have the hit point value written on the back of each of these. Okay, so hopefully y'all have seen that. Hopefully I was in frame. I don't know. I have my eyes closed. Snow Castle. Oh, that's funny. Snow Castle is in that bedroom. Well, okay. That's fine. It's not exciting. You know, it would have been really exciting for something else to be in there, but this is definitely the universe telling me to get caught up. So, Snow Castle. Oh, that's just so funny. So, once I finish my current stitching on April, which I did not bring to show you because A, the sun is going down, and B, I just got started on it, so I'll just show that to you next time. So then I will go into bedroom 2 and work on Snow Castle, and then decide if I stay upstairs and can sort of ping pong back and forth between the two, or if I come back downstairs and try to work some of the projects down here. I don't know yet. But that's a decision for another time. Right now, I need 1,500 stitches more. Well, 1,100 stitches more on April. 1,520 stitches total. So, okay. Well, that's fun. Okay. So, there we have it. All right, so that's immediate plans. So this first 10 days is going to be Milestone Manor, and those are the things that I'm going to be working through. Those are the projects that I have access to currently. Okay, then we get to the middle 10 days. And in those middle 10 days, I was thinking that I was going to work on Snow Castle and try to crank out these 2 pages in that middle 10 days. It's somewhere around 6,500 stitches, and so could I average 600 stitches in that time? It's possible. It's possible, especially once I get to page 12. That's gonna zoom really fast because there's no castle on page 12. So we'll see. We'll have a look at it, see what I can accomplish in that time. Then we get to middle of December, and outside of going hog on on Snow Castle, I'm going to have a new start in that little window there. It's something that I have been toying with starting for a long time, and a bunch of folks are going to be starting Winter Cookie Party by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artist there is Amy Stewart. It's been something that's been on my want to stitch list for a long time. A bunch of folks, I think Kim is the one who started it, and I think Kim is starting on the 16th. I am planning to start that on December 13th, which is a Saturday. And the reason for that is, so in my family growing up, leading up to Christmas, we had what we called Cookie Day. And so I'm going to be calling this piece Cookie Day because that's what it is for me. My Aunt Judy and I think Aunt Colleen made cookies. I know Aunt Judy made cookies. So I think Aunt Colleen made some too. Maybe Aunt Haley. I don't know. I was a kid. So they made sugar cookies, just plain sugar cookies, and sugar cookie cutouts. And then my cousins Tiff and Deb brought the end-all be-all of, at least in my memory, of cookie decorating kit. And so my brother and me and my cousins, who are about the same age as us, they're a little bit younger than we are, and the adults would even chip in a little bit. we would decorate cookies and decorate Christmas cookies. You know, my Aunt Colleen passed a few years ago, and when I saw this design, I burst into tears, because Cookie Day, it's just such a huge, huge part of my childhood. Yeah, so I'm going to be starting that on Saturday the 13th, because Cookie Day was always on a Saturday for us, and it was usually in that window a couple weeks before Christmas. So that's when I'm going to be starting that on December 13th. I will be starting Cookie Day, Winter Cookie Party on December 13th. A little bit ahead of the start along, but that's okay. Okay, then we get to the end of December, and I am, like I said, I'm not doing Flossmas or anything like that. However, I think at the end of the year, I am going to do a series of daily videos, because I am going to do my parade of 2025 new starts, where I spend one day working through them chronologically, spend one day on each of the projects that I have started here in 2025. And so we'll work our way through the list of, I think it's 14 at this point. Might be 13. It's going to end on December 30th. So I'll time it out to end on December 30th. And then on December 31st, I will have my last new start of the year. I'm not going to have a New Year new start for 2026. Instead, I'm going to have a New Year's Eve new start. And then on January 1st, dive into whatever my 2026 plans are. I don't know yet. But I'm going to have a New Year's Eve start. And for that, I'm going to be starting Mice in Love, I think. Unless I find something else that jumps out at me. But Mice in Love by Mandarinx Designs. And the reason for that is that on January 11th, we are taking my daughter to Disney World. We're doing the thing. She turns 5 on January 12th, and so we're going to Disney World for a week. And I'm excited. I am anxious. I haven't been to Disney in 15 years. And as the adult in this situation, I'm anxious about it, and I'm also just so excited to experience Disney with her for her first trip. And it's also going to be my husband's first trip to Disney, so that will be very cool. We're also going with my mom and my brother, and we are going to wake up on my daughter's 5th birthday at Disney World with Castle View. So that's really exciting. She's gonna be out of her mind. She's gonna be so excited. And so I thought to do something Disney princessy, but I haven't found anything that's really jumped out at me. Her favorite Disney princess is Rapunzel, and she loves Tangled, and nothing has struck me. I don't stitch, if I can avoid it, I don't stitch AI, and so I feel like the Disney things that I have seen lately are AI generated imagery, and I just won't. Like, I draw the line there. So anyway, I think I'm gonna stitch Mice in Love, because it's Mickey and it's Minnie and it's Mandarinx Designs, and I enjoy stitching their stuff. I have stitched Dumbo from them in the past, so that's going to be my New Year's Eve start, tentatively, unless something else jumps out at me. I looked at the Dona stitch Rapunzel, and okay, but it's not really speaking to me, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, tentatively, on December 31st, 2025, I will be starting something Disney related. in anticipation of our big adventure. So that's what you can expect. So it's going to be daily videos from me for that New Stars Parade. I think I want to do daily videos. Because it would be a fun way to sort of send off the year. So yeah. So I think that's it for the plans. I keep feeling like there's more. There is more. So you can expect a planning video from me at some point between now and the end of the year, if I can figure out what my plans are. And a Milestone Manor how-to video. As mentioned, I think I'm going to tentatively plan for that a week from now. So about this time next week, I should have a Milestone Manor how-to video as well as all of the files. Yeah, I think that's it. And the light is gone. I mean, it is gone. And this video is long. So I think it's time. I think it's time for me to head off and start to edit this thing and really get this one available to you all. I just want to say thank you all so much for your continued support of me and my channel. Thank you for sticking with me despite my lengthy absences. Be sure to use your keywords in your comments and let me know what you were working on, be it house chores, cooking, just chillaxing, or if you were stitching or knitting. Let me know what you were doing while I yammered on for the last, I don't even know how long, quite a while. Yeah, just thank you. And I hope that this season treats you kindly. I hope that you treat you kindly however you feel in this season. Be good to you, and happy stitching, everybody. As always, be kind. I will see you in the next one. Take care.